basics and fundamental things that we did all the way back in training camp. And like I said, we look back to those games that we didn't play well in. A lot of it is fundamentals, and so using last week to really get back to some of those things, knowing that we have to be so much better going on the road and playing Charlotte. We got to be better fundamentally, and we feel like if we can be better fundamentally, it's going to help us be better as a football team.
Do you have an update on Nkosi Perry and Nick Tronti's health? Or are they looking good? Are they going to be participating in practice today?
Yeah, they'll be out of practice.
Will they be doing drills today?
Yes, sir.
What's your biggest concern going into the Charlotte game?
Biggest concern is us being on our A game. You know, we again, it's not about our opponents, which we respect all of them, but it's more about, can we go out and play consistent football? You know, can we go and play with the energy and focus that we need to have away from Boca? You know, so again, it's great to get back on the road and go see if we can get it done, knowing that we have to get it done on the road against a good football team.
You talked a lot about the running game after the last game. When the running game hasn't gone well, is it more of not being able to move people off the ball? Is it bad reads by the running back? Is it a combination of a lot of different things?
Well, I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot of it. I think at first it start with not spotting teams 14 to 21 points in the first quarter. You know, I think it starts there first and foremost. When you can play better, not playing from behind, then you have a better opportunity to get in the run game and get it going. You know, you're playing from behind, then you're trying to catch up, and that's not the kind of ball you want to play. That's not the kind of ball we want to play. And unfortunately, that's how we've been on the road. So we got to clean that up first and foremost on the road. And I think if we do that, we'll be able to run the ball consistently and do those things. But when you get behind a team, you know you got to throw the ball. It makes it a lot easier for them and harder for us.
How is Jordan Helm looking? Is he still pretty banged up? Is he going to be practicing? How's he looking?
He'll be back. He'll be out of practice today. You know, he was banged up pretty good after the last game, and but he'll be out of practice today.
In his stead last week, it looked like Armani made a couple of really good plays, especially in run support. What does he fit in there very well as far as being part of that safety group?
He does. He's got a lot of reps too. You know, he's played a lot last year for us and played for us this year. So we don't feel like it'll be much of a letdown, let off if Jordan wasn't in there and the one that had to go in. He's done a great job, and I've been really impressed with just how he's been able to communicate. You can tell now that he's getting comfortable with what we're doing. He's learning from the upperclassmen and the way they communicate. And as I stand back in practice, back there with him, you hear him talking a lot more. I want to be louder, you know, like some of the other guys, but that's kind of his personality. He's a quiet guy, but it's great for him to be loud out there when he's communicating with his teammates.
What is something Charlotte does really well that you're hoping to shut down or try to take away from them?
Well, I think their quarterback does a great job with the RPO game. You know, he has a great understanding of their offense and knowing exactly where everybody's supposed to be and what they need to be in. You know, so he's the key. He's the key to what they're doing, and we got to do a good job of containing him, not just throwing the ball, but quarterback run game. He does a good job when he take off and run the football as well. So I think he's the key that makes it all work, and they know exactly who they are, and they play to their strength.
Kobe, anybody?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you much.
Man, it's cold in here. Ooh.
We'll see you after practice.
All right.
You gonna shower up and everything?
Yeah, I have to do that.
Yeah.
All right, Kobe.
Have a good one, Coach.
You do the same. You're going to.
From what he told me.
All right, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about opening up with maybe seeing some of the younger guys last week during the bye week, and maybe somebody who stood out for you, and then we'll move into Charlotte.
Well, we got back to the fundamentals last week during the bye. We got a chance to get some of the younger guys reps and got them some play. We cleaned up a couple of things that we had to clean up in order to go into this next game. I'm not really sure if I want to single out anybody in particular, but I think that overall as a group, I think the younger guys did a good job. I think the veterans, they got better at some fundamental things that we had to get straightened out in our individual periods, and I think it was a good week.
Coach Taggart mentioned that Perry and Tronti might not be 100% going into Charlotte, and you might see one of the younger guys play during that game. What have you seen from Perry and Tronti? Do you think they're getting close to being ready, or you think that we might see one of the younger guys could possibly get some reps during that Charlotte game?
Well, I think they're practicing today, and I think they're going to be close. You know, I don't know what they're going to look like later on in the week, but I think they'll be ready to go. If I had to bet, I would bet that, you know, one of those guys or both of those guys will be prepared and ready to go for that game. And then if we have to play somebody else, we have to play someone else. But I think at the start of that game, I would bet probably that one of those guys will play.
Last week, did you sort of identify things that you feel you do well as an offense and maybe narrow things down and say, let's just try to execute these plays at a high level as opposed to just throwing the whole playbook out there?
Yeah, we kind of narrowed our focus and focused on some of the things that we feel that we do well and some of the things that we should do well, and we had to clean up. So we kind of narrowed it down a little bit and got back to the basics on a couple things and made sure that we were ready to go this week.
As far as the run game, it wasn't there against UAB. It's going to have to be there, I'm assuming, the rest of the season. For you, did it start up front with not getting enough push?
Well, it starts. Our whole offense starts with our running game. If we don't run the ball effectively, then it puts us behind the 8 ball, so to speak. So if we can run the ball, then it opens up other areas that we're able to go to, and we weren't able to do that against UAB, so it kind of hurts. But I think that was one of the few games, that one and the Air Force game, where we didn't really run the ball the way we wanted to, and it kind of put us in a bad light. But I think that this week we're focused on certain things, and we feel going into this game that we should be able to run the ball, and we're going to do that, and it'll open up other things.
How aggressive is Charlotte on defense?
Well, they're aggressive. They play hard. You know, they're well coached. They're good at what they do, and they're a team that plays well together. They fly around. They run to the ball. They do certain things that cause you problems, and they just do a great job of playing defense collectively. And you're just going to have to match their intensity and play just as hard as they do or better.
Kobe?
I'm good.
All righty. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah.
Every week, so right now it's just focusing on getting this road win, and especially our first away road win. So we just need that, and then still conference play. All the games that we got left is straight conference, so for us to win out and control our own destiny, that's important that we get this done.
And then with Perry and Tronti not really having that many reps, you got to work a lot with some of the younger quarterbacks you guys have with Taggart Jr. and Johnson Jr. How was it working with them, and are these guys you can feel confident with, just in case like Perry and Tronti both aren't ready for Thursday?
Oh, I feel comfortable. You know, it just brings me back to the summer, like where we didn't have no starting quarterback. You know, it's every man is up, so they got to be prepared, just as Tronti or Nick, you know, so or not Nick, Tronti or Perry. So having those reps with them last week is just getting them warmed up, basically. You know, anything can happen at any moment. So when their number's called, they'll be ready, and then we'll be the receivers and running backs will be very much familiarized with them.
6 games, it's been up and down so far, a bit of a roller coaster. Do you feel you've established your identity as an offense yet, or do you think that's still a little bit of a work in progress?
For the most part, it's still a little bit of work in progress, but I think you know that, or we know that it's important that we establish our run game. You know, that's our run game and our defense. That's what's going to win this championship. So I think for the rest of the year, we're going to continue to just establish that game.
You're very familiar with Charlotte. You play them every year, so you've seen them a bunch. What is it that they do well defensively that you're going to have to counteract?
Defensively, I I know they have a lot of bigger guys in the box, and so just being able to take control of that box and then be able to move them out the way so our running backs could hit the hole hard and get a nice little open lane, that would be the biggest thing for us to control as far as going into this game.
Kobe?
I'm good.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob.
No problem.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. That's it. I think we've already talked a little bit about Charlotte, so if you could just open up about preparation for a short week and what that entails for you guys.
Well, having a little extra time, I think it's been good. As we prepare for Charlotte, they do a lot of different things offensively. A lot of formations, a lot of movements. So there's a lot there, and I think the extra time has benefited us just in our preparation for the multiple looks. That you get from them.
What are those multiple looks that you've seen from Charlotte that maybe makes it an opposing offense that makes it a challenge?
Well, I think, in this era of football that, we're in, you're always going to see a lot of shifts, trades, motions with a lot of their personnel. A lot of their two tight end stuff, they give you, multiple different, formations and adjustments, and it's just something you all have to be on the same page defensively. One guy, doesn't see it the right way, they can get you out of gaps and, create running lanes, and those are things that can create big plays. And in the passing game, you don't, rotate the right way, miss somebody, and, those get your eyes moving as a defensive player. It's kind of how football's played anymore, and you got to know how to react to, the players and get enough looks at things so they understand how to play certain formations.
Coach Taggart mentioned that Jordan Helm started practicing yesterday. How did he look in practice yesterday? And is he trending towards being able to play this week?
Yeah, Jordan, practiced well yesterday, and he's on track, and we're excited that he's back, and he's part of the game plan, and we just hope he keeps progressing, and there's no setbacks. We'll be on schedule for Thursday night.
Thursday, what are you looking?
One of them think that I'm coming back, and I feel like I'm this high and mighty guy. I just want to be able to do my part for the team. Just make sure everybody understands that I'll give what I have as long as they give what they have.
You're talking about how the concepts maybe at first didn't get to you, but then you got it a little later. How much of that is just Coach Stoops kind of, getting you through that process?
Coach Stoops, he does a good job of explaining it, as well as Coach Thompson, my position coach. He, when I don't understand something, they break it down pretty well, and it helps me to get the things that I get frustrated on, and they let me know that don't get too frustrated. You're fresh back into the scheme. Guys have been learning since January. You came in July, and you're learning. You're getting the concept down pretty well. So, just keep going with steps that you're taking, and just keep progressing.
How close are you do you feel you are to the way you played in 2019?
I feel it. Like yesterday was probably one of my best practices, I feel, honestly, this year. And it was a motivation for me. It was like a confidence booster, and it felt great because now instead of scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next? Now I'm breaking everything down in my head. It's like the plays are starting to slow down a lot more. So I'm starting to see everything that I need to do before it happens almost, and now I can get to a point where I communicate more. I know that's a big point with guys are like, dang, bro, you don't talk as much. And I'm like, bro, communication comes with confidence. So the more confident I am with the plays in our scheme, the more that I'll be able to be vocal, more of a vocal leader in the way I was 2019.
What were some of the goals you had going into this season, and now seeing yourself? You led the team in tackles the last 2 weeks, and you hit 7 tackles in the last 3 weeks. Are you where you want to be right now, and how far along have you come since then?
Well, I always see that there's room for improvement, and I'll probably never be satisfied with my game still. Even if I have like maybe a 10 or 11 tackle game, I still will want more for myself and more for the team, because I want them to know that as much as I put in, I want them to know I work for it every day for it, not just something that I get on Saturdays or something that just comes to me. It's all in the preparation process, and just 1% better every day.